You're listening to The World at 8 with Lynn Mozart. The World at 8, the number one in nationalist news.
Highlights of the news today, Wednesday the 24th of October. Woman's husband escapes prison for beating her in a brutal Muslim exorcism. Women say they are second-class citizens at Dundee's Central Mosque. Asian gang beat and robbed 20-year-old Aylesbury man. Opt-out on EU justice powers will cost us millions, say Brussels. Denmark brokers immigrant gang peace treaty. The Reverend Robert West and the Muslim grooming. Police save members of Brazilian doomsday cult from mass suicide. West's free speech ban bars blasphemy ban in Istanbul. Thought for the day, come fly with me. And finally, do not fly with Choreo. UK News. Snaresbrook Crown Court heard wheelchair-bound Ahmed Hussein, 60, instigated the exorcism of his wife by a local Muslim imam and encouraged him to hit his wife harder to beat the demon out. But today he was spared jail after his forgiving wife Asma asked for his freedom and said it would be the end of my life if Ahmed lost his liberty. Holy water was also thrown on Mrs Hussein during the 8-hour ordeal, also witnessed by Hussein's son Mohammed Kays Hussein, 28, and son-in-law Mohammed Aziz, 21. Hussein was given a 12-month prison sentence, suspended for 2 years, and will be supervised for a year. They ignore us, women who worship at Dundee's Central Mosque claim an all-male committee sees them as second-class citizens over urgent safety worries. Mothers say they fear for their children's safety because wall-mounted lights are not always switched on at the women's entrance. However, the mosque's vice-chairman has dismissed the claim of women being second-class citizens as absolute rubbish. One worshipper, Fatima, who asked her second name is not revealed, said, "It's so dark you can't even tell where you are. Sometimes I can't see the children when they come out of religious studies classes." A World Gate spokesman commented, "Muslim women treated as second-class citizens? Who would have believed it? Non-Muslim women are treated even worse." A gang of 3 Asian men beat and robbed a 20-year-old man in Aylesbury, Buckinghamshire. The attack occurred on a footpath near Aylesbury College, where they beat and kicked him as he lay on the ground. They took his wallet and mobile phone before fleeing. The attackers are described as Asian men, all in their early to mid-20s and of slim build. 2 are approximately 5 foot 10 inches and the third approximately 6 foot 5 inches. Anyone with information can contact Detective Constable Justin Harris by dialling 101 and asking for the Aylesbury Police Station or contacting Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111. European news. Brussels officials are threatening to hit Britain with millions of pounds in fines in retaliation for pulling out of pan-European justice and crime policies. The European Commission has warned of direct financial consequences if the UK withdraws from controversial measures such as the European arrest warrant. The warning was met with dismay last night by Tory backbenchers who accused Brussels of trying to blackmail the UK. Details of the threat emerged after Theresa May confirmed in the House of Commons that the government is set to take back around 130 powers over British crime and justice which have been handed to Europe, including the controversial European arrest warrant. A groundbreaking peace treaty was sealed in Tuesday on Nørrebro, Denmark. Rival immigrant gangs agreed to end their violence during a ceremony facilitated by the Islamic Association Viomis. Radio 242YV has reported Viomis' spokesperson Alexander Chabel said that the deal between the Nørrebro gangs from Blackguards, Plaids and Jolmerden-Parken, I do apologise to people I do not speak Danish, was a significant step to end the violence that has plagued the district. According to a Politiken newspaper, high-ranking members of both gangs, including the notorious Store A from the Blackguards Plats gang and Jaja from the Jolner-Parken gang, were present. Politiken reported that despite the strife between their respective gangs, the leaders are on good terms after serving prison sentences together. A World Date writer has commented, "Oh joy, people can be safe in their own country again. Where is the Viking spirit? The Danes are now officially Islam backside lickers and wimps. I hope they will still produce good bacon." I now hand you over to the Reverend Robert West, who is talking today on the Muslim grooming problem.
What I'd like to talk about this evening is that there is a Muslim grooming gang coming near you soon. In rural and urban parts of the country, of all places, both radical and mainstream Mohammedanism is on the march and will be coming near you soon, if it is not already with you. For 30 years now, these two differently paced streams of the same movement have been having a field day in our northern cities and in our culture, where they are feted and fawned over as though they were in reality the religion and culture of peace and light. Police and local authorities have covered up the awful truth about Mohammedan sex grooming gangs, which have been abusing our girls for up to 30 years or more, and which have in some cases even murdered them. We all now know of the case of Charlene Downs, whose body has never been recovered and whose killers are still at large. In Peterborough we have had Mohammedan mayors, and we now have 3 of their mosques. In Boston a mosque has been opened a few years ago. In Kings Lynn an Islamic centre has recently been given the go-ahead, and in Skegness halal cruelty in the slaughter of animals has been approved by the local authority. Is there nothing that can be done to halt the relentless advance of the followers of Mohammed? Recently I was at the protest of the British Veterans Group outside the Conservative Party conference in Birmingham. We were there protesting against the unneeded deaths of British warriors slain in foreign wars, such as in Afghanistan, where no immediate or obvious British interest has been served. There must have been about 20 of us, that's all. Nearby there were about 6 protesters from the Christian group Keep Wedlock Special, protesting against David Cameron's bent agenda to introduce unholy wedlock for sexual perverts and inverts, homosexuals. Not far from them there were some other small protest groups, but the day had to go to those who were opposed to the badger cull. There must have been at least 80 of them. Folk were more concerned with saving beasts which are pests to cattle than they were in dealing with the really big issues of the day. It is like that on many things. Such has been the effect of the television and its propaganda. Many of our folk, even our intelligent folk, have had their heads turned to mush. This must make the issue of highlighting the dangers of Mohammedanism even more difficult. In our schools, moreover, the children who are the adults and governments of tomorrow are being softened up by Islamic propaganda, which says that Mohammedanism is a religion of peace, and which affirms that any faults that there may be in some of their adherents are only cultural and do not go back to the words and deeds of their founder, as found in the hadiths and sunnah of Muhammad, as well as in what he gave us in the Quran. In some areas, in rural Lincolnshire, there are already small mosques which meet in houses, and there are already small areas of villages which are now Muslim. We can see them walk down the road to their house mosque every Friday, including some young men with 2 Sharia wives, or at least 2 women who walk behind him. One, we think, would be his legal wife in our law, but the other would be deemed a dependent of his by our social security system, and he will be able to claim social security benefits for both of them. They are already begetting children, his wives being only just out of school. The Mohammedans can double their population every 20 to 30 years. It is a terrifying prospect. 50 years ago we would not have dreamed of Leicester becoming a predominantly foreign city, but we now face that prospect, and they are becoming truly ensconced in our professions, including the legal system, Parliament, and, have you noticed, the human resources departments of local government, big firms, and academic institutions. The human resources departments control job selection and recruitment, and references. it is another example of power being concentrated into the hands of the followers of Mohammed, which they will then use to cow and control the rest of the population even before they are numerically predominant. They have already cowed the police in our northern cities into doing little or nothing in these horrific and very open child sex abuse cases. My object this evening is to ask what can be done in rural and urban parts of the countryside. I believe that it is most important and urgent to take up the Mohammedan threat, and to do so as a current issue, not as something that can wait until Mohammedan power is even more firmly built up and their numerical strength even more fully established. And one way to do that, which will speak to people in the current way that they are thinking, is to emphasise the issue of Mohammedan or Muslim cruelty in the way that they kill animals for food. If folk were put off halal food, then they would not frequent and buy from halal shops or from takeaways which serve out halal slain animals. That will hit the Mohammedan pocket and surely drive them elsewhere, hopefully back to Mohammed land. A drop in their income in any case would mean a drop in their ability to buy properties and dominate local economies, which all have a tendency to weaken our ability to resist them even further. Such a campaign would also have a beneficial impact on our young folk, as stopping unnecessary cruelty to animals also chimes with current educational themes that they encounter on the TV and in schools. We need to campaign now for the crucial issues which will become more obviously the dominant ones in the years ahead. My name is the Reverend Robert West, and I am the moderator of the Christian Council of Britain.
Thank you, Reverend West, for adding a new Christian slant to this subject. World news. Shots fired as police swooped 10 minutes before 100 followers of Brazilian doomsday cult were due to commit mass suicide over the end of the world. Police swooped on a Brazilian doomsday cult just 10 minutes before more than 100 followers were set to commit mass suicide by drinking poisoned soup on the 12th of October. Self-proclaimed prophet Luis Pereira dos Santos had barricaded himself in after predicting the world would end at 8 p.m. on the 11th. There was believed to be an exchange of gunfire between the group and the police, who used gas bombs and pepper spray during the assault. No casualties have been reported. Istanbul, Turkey. Western opposition has made it impossible for Muslim states to obtain a ban on blasphemy, including anti-Islamic videos and cartoons that have touched off deadly riots, the Islamic world's top diplomat has said. Ekmeleddin Ihsanoglu, Secretary-General of the Organisation of Islamic Cooperation, OIC, said his 50-nation body would not try again for United Nations support to ban insults to religion, but appealed for states to apply hate speech laws concerning Islam. We could not convince them, said the Turkish head of the 57-member organisation, which has tried from 1998 until 2011 to get a United Nations-backed ban on blasphemy. The European countries don't vote with us, the United States doesn't vote with us. Western countries see the publication of such images and materials as a matter of free speech. A World Date spokesman commented, "Finally, the West has got a little backbone. Freedom of expression is central to Western culture and is non-negotiable. Muslims are offended by everything and anything, and so will hopefully soon be ignored." Thought for the day. Fly with us, or does it harm us to care? I'm asking a question here. Does it harm our party and even our activists to care about our country and our people in the eyes of those people in the media? Yes, it seems it does. Because we care about the Islamification of our country and the ramifications that Marxist indoctrination brings to our government and our educational system, we are labelled racist and fascist monsters and classed with members of the Third Reich. Now, whilst I have no quarrel with self-identification, if people want to call me names, that's okay with me. I know what I believe in, and everyone is entitled to their beliefs, even idiots. I have received many communications from a mixed race person who shall remain nameless. He views himself as worthless and thinks the white race should reign supreme. He is of course wrong. Caring for your country and the effect of massive immigration does not make me or the British National Party racist or members of the white Aryan supremacist cults. I do not agree with mixed race marriages simply because I know how difficult they can be for the children. Not in today's society though, because they are encouraged to marry out, but often for the children themselves when adult. He stated that he knew many black and Asian men who had trouble with liking themselves or their race. Now from what I see, most black males think they're quite something, as do some of our young white females, and Asian men, mostly of the Muslim variety, are cock of the walks with their huge families and money to back them up. Now what happens to the Hindus and Anglo-Indians is a different tale. They do not have the mystique of black blood and have been the butt of nasty behaviour from us Brits for many years. They need to enjoy their mixed heritage. It has the best of both in most cases. Now my message to them is to join the BNP. Why? Because we do care about people of colour. The buzzword of deportation and getting rid does not apply to mixed race people and people who have been living and contributing in this country for many years. We need people like you. We need people who care about this country, and that is the important thing. Caring. It can mean many things, and rarely does the media actually state the truth. The media, and I mean press and TV, do not want our party to survive or prosper. It does not want us to be seen to care. What it does want is for the general public to hate us, to put us in a large box and simply forget us as a nasty party with nasty people. They are so wrong, and one day will be proved to be so. This alignment with the Third Reich and its failings rings a bell in the sheeple's brains. They see stormtroopers going from house to house, bringing out all the mixed race and coloured people and shipping them off to God knows where. Do they really think we as a people would want that? No, we do not. Apart from the fact it would take lots of money, people and time, our economy would not stand it, and a damaged economy affects all people, whatever colour or creed. Caring does not encompass stupidity. Mixed race people, black people who have been here years, and even well-meaning Muslims need never hate or fear us. Now when it comes to illegal immigrants, greedy white employers, immigrant criminals and people who hate us and our country, that is a different matter. No country needs people like that, and in fact Europe is just waking up to the fact that especially where there are large Muslim enclaves, trouble is brewing. Because the sad fact is that many Muslims do not live alongside other religions with ease, and they do have the capacity to outbreed everyone on the planet. But that is what caring should mean, caring about your country and its people in the present and the future. We have a tax on the increase in our country. We have youngsters being spat on in their own hometowns. We have the ever-growing Muslim grooming problems spiralling out of control, and we have the ignorance and anti-white hatred of the local police and government whilst they placate the Muslim communities. In a town in the southeast region or Area 41 of the Grand EU Caliphate, an Asian family have been allocated a 2-bedroomed council house. They are not living in it, but are using it as a storehouse. Meanwhile, there is a poor white family in the same area with one child and one nearly here who have been on the waiting list for years and who are living in one room with a double bed and a cot in it, with a small kitchen and bathroom, and who have not been allocated anything, whilst this Asian storage house is being wasted. Now, because we and our activists care, this matter is being brought to light locally. So we do care, and where we can, we do help or at least give support. It is not racist to want your own people to come before strangers. It is not racist to want to stop bad behaviour from immigrants. It is not racist to want to see more of your own tribe in your own country. It is not racist to want to have your children educated in your own history, culture and religion. It is not racist to want to stop foreign aid from going to people to buy guns and make their own countries unlivable in. It is not racist to care. That is the last message that the media or press want to broadcast. We are not the monsters here. They are still hiding in the cupboard. And finally, Air Koryo, the Northern Korea carrier described as the world's worst airline, has finally moved into the digital age with its first online booking service. The state-owned airline, which is the only one in the world with just 1 star according to the ranking service Skytrax, now sells flights from Pyongyang to Beijing and Shenyang in China and Vladivostok in Russia on its website www.airkoryo.com.kp/en, which launched in August and promised easier, quicker, reliable booking and ticketing services. However, according to reports coming in, the website is unlikely to help this airline, as users have already reported slow response speeds, with some searches not offering any availability to flights, while others result in an error message appearing on the screen. A World-Date report has stated, "It seems that come fly with me does not apply here, but at least it's not like Ryanair who charge for using their loos." You have been listening to The World at 8. I am Lynn Mozar and I wish you all a very good night. Religious studies classes. A World Date spokesman commented, "Muslim women treated as second-class citizens? Who would have believed it? Non-Muslim women are treated even worse." A gang of 3 Asian men beat and robbed a 20-year-old man in Aylesbury, Buckinghamshire. The attack occurred on a footpath near Aylesbury College, where they beat and kicked him as he lay on the ground. They took his wallet and mobile phone before fleeing. The attackers are described as Asian men, all in their early to mid-20s and of slim build. 2 are approximately 5 foot 10 inches and the third approximately 6 foot 5 inches.
You're listening to The World at 8 with Lynn Mozart. The World at 8, the number 1 in nationalist news.
Highlights of the news today, Wednesday the 24th of October. Woman's husband escapes prison for beating her in a brutal Muslim exorcism. Women say they are second-class citizens at Dundee's Central Mosque. Heard wheelchair-bound Ahmed Hussein, 60, instigated the exorcism of his wife by a local Muslim imam and encouraged him to hit his wife harder to beat the demon out. But today he was spared jail after his forgiving wife Asma asked for his freedom and said it would be the end of my life if Ahmed lost his liberty. Holy water was also thrown on Mrs Hussein during the 8-hour ordeal, also witnessed by Hussein's son Mohammed Kays Hussein, 28, and son-in-law Mohammed Aziz, 21. Hussein was given a 12-month prison sentence, suspended for 2 years, and will be supervised for a year. They ignore us, women who worship at Dundee's Central Mosque, claim an all-male committee sees them as second-class citizens over urgent safety worries. Mothers say they fear for their children's safety because wall-mounted lights are not always switched on at the women's entrance. However, the mosque's vice-chairman has dismissed the claim of women being second-class citizens as absolute rubbish. One worshipper, Fatima, who asked her second name is not revealed, said, "It's so dark you can't even tell where you are. Sometimes I can't see the children when they come out of religion." Asian gang beat and robbed 20-year-old Aylesbury man. Opt-out on EU justice powers will cost us millions, say Brussels. Denmark brokers immigrant gang peace treaty. The Reverend Robert West and the Muslim grooming. Police save members of Brazilian doomsday cult from mass suicide. West's free speech ban bars blasphemy ban in Istanbul. Thought for the day, come fly with me. And finally, do not fly with Koryo. UK News. Snaresbrook Crown Court